Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. Some upcoming artists we are covering are the Smashing Pumpkins, finally, the Misfits, and My Chemical Romance. If those interest you, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. We love you guys. Today's artist, though, is Rage Against the Machine. That's right, Rage Against that Machine. We'll be ranking their 4 studio albums. So this should be a quick one. We'll see. With
Be an
me
easy one.
today, he's got a fistful of steel. Tim.
What's happening?
He's the renegade of funk. Will. And
Wow, that was not at all what I was expecting. I appreciate it.
And our returning special guest, who was out in space for a long time, he's always calm like a bomb, Ed. So,
and you guys know the voice of the voiceless. That's Jason.
Oh, I think that was one of mine.
Oh, strategy coming in already.
Not a whole lot of songs to choose from this week.
I know.
So we are changing on our formula and how we present our rankings. The rules are simple: short discussion of our relationship with the artist. Then we'll mark our list with must-hear albums, proceed with caution and trash. Then we'll start at the beginning of the discography, discuss the album, and then put it in its respective places. So with that being said, Tim, what is your relationship with Rage Against the Machine?
Wow. Well, when they came out, I was not a fan. It took me quite a while to get into them, actually. But by the time the Battle of Los Angeles came out, I had been converted. I really liked that album, and even Evil Empire. Like, I couldn't deny it was pretty cool. And yeah, going back, the first album's great too. They're all great. So as of now, my relationship with this band is great. But it took me a little while.
A little rocky start.
Yeah. I think I would chalk that up more to youth and just stubbornness on my end.
It's honest. I like it. It's beautiful.
Right. What about you, Will?
My older brother went to Lollapalooza 93, I think, in New Orleans, where Rage played initially. I think it was the one with Ministry on there too. But yeah, he came back with that tape. Like, he came back. That was the coolest thing my older brother's ever done, was come back with that tape. And he listened. He used to pick me up from middle school, just in time. It would always time it perfectly. The "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me" part was blaring really loud. It made me feel really cool in 7th grade, and I appreciate him for that. Yeah, dude. And I've followed him ever since, honestly. I actually dropped out during the Battle of Los Angeles time, because in 99, there was so much music that I was blowing my mind in 99. So I just missed it. I heard the singles and I loved them. But yeah, that's it, man.
All right. What about you, Ed? What is your relationship?
So, Rage Against the Machine. All right. Come from a little different perspective here. But growing up in Latin America, Che Guevara has always been a huge figure. We all know who Che Guevara is in Latin America. We all know that profile picture that with the hat and everything. And this is pre-cool Che Guevara. This is like 1990. Social media is not around. Not many people are really, unless you've like studied Latin American studies or been to Latin America, especially in the areas we grew up with in the South. Not many people knew about the whole Cuban Revolution. Anyways, so my dad's always, that's something that we're taught since we're little about Latin America and culture and everything. So fast forward, me being in the States, and all of a sudden this album comes out, has a burning monk on the front, and then you start checking out this band and it has a picture of Che on there. And I'm like, holy crap, what's this about? That's the first thing that got me. I've always been a huge fan of Che Guevara. Che Guevara. And then listening to the music, it's absolutely fantastic. It is the lyrics that Zach De La Roca produces, the things he talks about, little things that he talks about Inca. Like he throws a lot of things that it's in the culture of Latin America in there. It's not just Mexican culture or Tex-Mex culture. Is like he knows his stuff. He knows. You can tell the guy has deep knowledge of what's happening in Latin America as far as politics and culture. So that made me a huge fan. And then the music is just explosive, man. And then you like a teenager listening to that. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I first heard Rage, but I mean it was from the beginning, like
Nice.
yeah, I mean they've just kind of always been there for me since I was listening to music. I remember Freedom, I think, was played on MTV a lot, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember. You remember Tiffany Smith?
Yes, I do. She
used to play Evil Empire all the damn time.
Yeah, she's rad.
And Battle of Los Angeles, I bought that day it came out, which was the same day as Foo Fighters. One Will likes, that Tim doesn't.
There's
like.
nothing left to lose.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Something else came out that day too. It was like an expensive day for record buying.
Yeah, that was I miss those days.
Yeah. So yeah, they've kind of always just been there. Musically they're phenomenal, ahead of their time lyrically. It's all right.
Yeah, and it was that. Sorry, one question because I don't remember because I'm old and my brain has been through a lot.
You've come to the right place.
1991 is when that album came out, right? Is that correct?
92.
92. Sorry, okay, around that area.
I was a whopping 10 years old.
Is that the beginnings of what they call new metal? Is that you wouldn't consider that new metal? Because I've heard
it's proto. If you really want to get into it,
yeah, I guess so. It's like the first proper synergy of rap rock that I think I've ever heard at that time.
Well, let me ask you a question: which came out first, that or Blood Sugar Sex Magic? Because
I don't consider
called "Suck My Kiss."
Tim
can fit very nicely.
You can definitely see the evolution, is what I'm saying, though. Like it's the beginning, the spark, I think, that started that trend. I'm not grouping Rage. I don't consider them a new metal band, but I've heard people throw them in that pot.
They're definitely an influence. I mean, so is Primus,
I mean, I guess this is the time to put it out. Like, I feel like the first record was more of a metal record than Evil Empire or Battle of Los Angeles, though. And those are all.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, actually.
Really?
Oh, we gotta get
I feel like Self-Titled is like more like just straight up.
Guys, this is supposed to be a short video.
Hardcore and rap.
Hey, you're the one that started. Let me ask a question.
Well, I have a question. What do you mean? I have a question. I have to ask. The people want to know, Jason. The people.
Hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. We're gonna be corporate. You got something to say? Raise your hand, and that way we can get.
Oh God, no! Don't do that. I hate that.
Well, I'm just saying, man. It might not be a bad productivity thing,
Go bang out the erasers. You're being bad. All right, so we're gonna mark our albums. Must hear, proceed with caution, trash. I'll start it out because I'm just gonna flat out say they're all must hears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% green across the board on this one.
I mean, you can do that for me too, real quick, because that's my vibe too. All 4 green for sure.
I don't have that vibe.
All right, Ed, what is your must hears, proceed with cautions, and trash?
All right, so for number 4, I'm gonna go with yellow, and then 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna go with green.
Okay, awesome.
All right. It's just weird to me.
That's still surprising because mine are all green as well.
Really? That's about as surprising as.
You little tricky dick. All right, before we started recording, he kind of made it seem like he was going to have more than one yellow and potentially a red.
You can't. You
just
can't
to
trust
throw us off
Tim.
the scent, apparently.
Strategy, my
You
friend.
can't trust
Strategy.
Tim in the Facebook message group because he'll throw you off. He'll throw some BS out there to get you.
Yeah, I did.
All right. I'll move us down here.
All right. So
I mean, if you've heard these albums, you know you got to hear them.
If
These
you're
are great.
watching this video, you're a fan of Rage Against the Machine, and you're probably like, why aren't they all green?
It just became the hot take right off the bat.
All right. So
well, ironically, I'm pretty sure we might all have the same number 4, which will make it interesting anyway. So
I
we'll
don't
get there.
think we will.
It'll be fun.
I don't
think we will either.
I don't
Oh
think.
wow!
I don't
Okay,
think
all right.
so. Because again, I don't trust Tim.
All right, we'll go there. We'll go.
All right. We're gonna start off with self-titled. Who wants to talk about it first? Anybody?
I'll go.
Go for it.
This is one of the first tapes that I got too. I have the tape here somewhere. I need to look for it. It's a fantastic album. I think lyrically it was ahead of its time. There was revolutionary music out there. People talking about, the man. Not like this.
You want a revolution?
Not not like this. This is revolutionary. Taking
Not
the
in the mainstream.
Yeah, not in the mainstream for sure. But this was taking lyrics and music and making it something explosive to a sound. I don't think a lot of people were acquainted to it. I mean, Bomb Track, starting with Bomb Track, that was one of the first songs. That riff is one of the first songs I learned how to play on guitar. Joe Silva taught me how to play that. And
I'm with you, buddy.
it's just, if you grew up in our generation and you play guitar, I promise you play that dang lick at one guitar store or another, trying to impress somebody.
I got a story about impressing that too. That's perfect.
It's a fun riff, and it just grabs you. If the video with the baggy pants and the baggy shirt and the dreads there, I mean, they had the look, they had the sound, they had the youth and the anger, and it was just perfect. Like this whole album, Killing in the Name, Taking Power Back. I mean, Bullet in the Head, bro. Like, oh man. I mean, come on, seriously, that is one of the. I mean, I don't know. Oh man. Okay, so
pop song contender, maybe.
This whole record.
We'll get
this
there.
whole album could have been a top song.
Yeah, this is a perfect album. One of my favorite stories about this band is that a certain politician, representative of the House, claimed that this was one of his favorite bands.
I remember this.
And even the interviewer was like, bro, do you know what you're talking about? And he was absolutely clueless. Like, he didn't know why people were poking fun at him. And it took a while. And I even remember having friends on my social media going like, why is everybody picking on this certain politician? Because he picked, I don't even want to say those people's names. He picked, seriously.
This is a recent story too, right? Within the last.
I mean, I don't think he's in office anymore, so it's been a few.
He's not. But it makes me want to throw up just thinking about these people. So, and everybody was like, "Why? Like, why can he like Rage Against the Machine?" And I'm like, I mean, look at the people were like, just read the lyrics. It is fantastic. I think that is props to Rage, that their sound was able to attract people who don't even think the way that they do. They're so badass that they were able to grab a crowd of people who had no idea what their music was about. And they were just like, yeah, it's kind of cool, But anyways, continuing with this album, Wake Up, that scream he has in there, it's perfect. It is perfect. It's youth and anger put together. Fistful of Steel and Freedom. If you have a bad day, 2 songs I recommend, right? Tom Petty, Free Falling, and Freedom by Rage Against the Machine.
Those
listen to those 2 songs.
It's like peanut butter and jelly. Those 2. It's a perfect combination.
Have you seen Jerry Maguire? That's all I'm saying.
No, I worked at Blockbuster when it came on video, but no, I never actually watched the movie.
Wait, you never seen Jerry Maguire?
I've never seen it either.
I don't like Tom Cruise that much.
Yeah,
I saw it. I was not a fan.
I just don't care.
It's one of my top favorites. But anyways, that has nothing to do with this album. I'm just saying. Tom
Yeah,
Petty
I
was
don't-
on there. But Freedom, and I can't remember which one it is out of this album, but I just want to say something to people, especially if anybody's listening that's in charge of radio. It's 2023. If Zach wants to say "F you"
They play it on the radio now. I've heard it.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah.
I still see it. I hear it. I heard it not too long ago, and they cut it off. And I'm like, why? That's stupid.
Well, mom's.
I mean,
and some
mom
still
talking
do.
about it. She said that she sings along like "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
Yeah.
They do it on the radio now? Well, I haven't heard it.
No,
Like
I mean,
radio,
Ed, honestly,
They do
I haven't
in,
listened to the
cooler
radio long
markets.
enough to know. To be
They
fair.
do in cooler markets, but there's a certain company, much like a certain politician, that will remain
Wait.
nameless. There's a certain company.
No, is it iHeartRadio?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I don't mind saying it.
Do you remember when they were called Clear Channel and had banned Rage Against?
Yeah, no, I was working at CD Warehouse when the 9/11 happened, and it was we got the corporate copy, even though it was a franchise, about the songs that we were not allowed to, or radios weren't allowed to play at that point in time.
Mhm.
And Killing in the Name was definitely on that list.
So I've noticed that with iHeartRadio, their streaming services still play the edited version, but they will allow their radio stations that they own to play the full thing. Because like the local rock station here plays it all the time, you know. They don't even
TK plays it all the time still, but I don't know if it's unedited at this point. I really can't say.
And I absolutely one of my favorite parts of this album when Zach says, you know, brother, did you forget your name? Did you lose it on the war playing tic-tac-toe? And I had no idea what that meant for many years. So I looked up Vietnam War and what the pilots used to do. I mean, he is seriously so well informed, is scary. Like when he wrote this, at least he knew things that I don't know how old this guy was, but when he wrote this, but I mean, I didn't know all that at his age. You know what I mean? Like he knew details.
Tom Morello's a Harvard graduate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true too. And they all kind of mixed in.
They're well read, and you know, anybody with a basic understanding of 20th century history should have touched on a lot.
And they're not afraid to throw it in the people's face. It's like, you know, it's like, yo, what they teach you in history class? Nah, bro, look at this. Like, you know, like, and they put it in writing, and it's perfect, man. It's a very good album. Hands down, got it, must have.
See, I kind of argue that like this record is important because it did inform so many people. Like I'm least impressed by the fact that Zach had this knowledge or wokeism, I guess, at this point. You kids talking about these days, but he was woke before woke existed, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just wild to think about like all the things I learned from listening to this record. I was 10 years old when I heard this shit. It literally changed my entire perspective on a ton of stuff because I didn't know a lot because I had an Alabama public school education. I didn't know a whole lot of nothing, honestly. So this record was very, very important to me. I would also say
I learned the Civil War was over state rights.
Yeah, no, I mean, I here's the thing. That's what's so messed up about living in Alabama and being raised in Alabama.
Yeah,
is that
state
like
rights.
people like I talk to people from outside of Alabama all the time, and they're always, or just the South in general, and they're always like, "Oh man, it's so racist there." I'm like, dude, I guarantee you, I had more.
You've heard their new argument.
Kindergarten class than you ever saw until like maybe college. So don't fucking talk to me about race. I understand it way better than you do.
Let me ask you.
You've heard their new argument.
Will and Tim, let me ask you this as two white male Americans.
Yeah, man.
How many times in Alabama or in the South did somebody come up to you and, you know, talk about the Confederate flag and how it's not about racism, it's about heritage and all that stuff?
They still do, bro.
How many of those people at the same time you knew at some point being around them said some racist shit? So it's like, you sure that flag's not about racism?
Yeah.
You sure?
Well, to be fair, I am still very, very constant. This is the throwback to what Ed was talking about. I'm still very much shocked that anyone heard this record and thought it was pro-white people or pro-government.
I mean, we're going to shop later. You want to go hit up Rodeo?
dude, like going back and listening to this record, like I listened to Killing in the Name a bunch, and I was just like, how is some white kid thinking this is a pro KKK, pro police song? And there are people who think that, and that is fucked up, and you are fucking wrong. What is wrong? Read a fucking book. What the fuck?
I don't know how relevant this is, but I recently saw a great meme of the you didn't understand it to begin with before you started emulating it starter pack. And it's Christian Bale from American Psycho. It's Joaquin Phoenix from The Joker.
Yeah,
it's all these like, just things that like people think are cool, but like, and then I don't know. People don't always get the what's being told them.
No, they don't. Very rarely.
So,
this album, Bomb Track, the opening is just iconic. My favorite line is, instead I warm my hands upon the flames of the flag to recall the downfall of the businesses that burn us all. From Bomb Track right into Killing in the Name of. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Yeah, that's pro KKK. And that outro, take
well, it is back. If you're on a force.
Yeah, and if you believe in the police, then it's
I saw a great picture today. Someone appropriated the black flag logo, but now it's the blue flag.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I cannot wait till I see that shit so I can actually like start defacing property.
I'm gonna have to put it in the video now so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Please do. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Flag. Oh yeah. I'll dig it up. I saw it today. It's not too
blue flag.
Blue flag.
Blue flag.
Oh my god. Fuck the police, man. Jesus.
Love Settle for Nothing starts out slow, almost like a Jim Morrison reading poetry over background music, but it just gets better and better as the song goes along. Fucking bullet in the head.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with Mom the other day about how things are now with propaganda and the media and, the way America is now. And this song is over 30 years old. Know Your Enemy is top tier. The only low point is Maynard singing, but it's still top tier.
Dude, that is not a low point. What the fuck? Why would you even say that? That is not a hot take. That's just like a rude thing to say. That's all that
is. Even musically, it sounds like they're trying to channel.
It's an iconic line in the track. Like,
it's a beautiful line
people wait for.
And just for posterity's sake, Adam Jones and Tom Morello went to high school together. They're friends. They were both guitar players in high school together. They're really bros.
I get it. They let their buddy sing on, Green Jelly let him sing on their album too. So
they were in Green Jelly.
Because
he was in Green Jelly.
As was Danny Carey.
Maynard is a great vocalist. I don't even care for most of the shit he's put out, but he's a great singer. And
hands down,
he's a great talent.
Maynard can be messed with, dude. His voice.
He is the lowest point on this record for me. When I'm listening to a Rage Against the Machine album, I don't want to hear Maynard.
To be fair, nobody knew who the fuck Maynard was when this came out.
That's true. That is true. I had no idea who he was.
Opiate existed, but like very few people. Undertow hadn't happened yet.
Didn't Undertow? When did
Undertow came out.
Yeah, it did, because I remember listening to Kurt Cobain. There's a interview with Kurt Cobain talking about a video Tool put out.
Yeah, for Sober.
And Kurt was like, they totally ripped off some artist or something. I can't remember, but so that was Kurt
he hated that
was
video.
Aware.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I like the video. This whole album, what can you say about it? Like, there's not a bad song.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there as far as debut albums go. We've had a pretty good string of those here the last couple of weeks.
My notes say we were talking about the best debut albums last week with the Doors. I would say Rage Against the Machine Self-Titled would be in that conversation.
It's in the conversation. I don't think it's number one, but it's in the conversation.
Oh, it's in the top 10 at least, though. Top 10 debuts for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on, I gotta say first, Wake Up. When I saw The Matrix on a lark in the movie theater, and that came on as the ending credits, I was like, that is the most perfect song you could ever have for that movie. It was beautiful. And then Settle for Nothing Now is probably the greatest hardcore song of the 90s. And I'm just throwing that out there because it sounds like a good hardcore song.
I would disagree with that. But
man, it's got
the shape of punk
slow. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You're gonna tell me it's better than New Noise or Liberation Frequency or
those came out in 2000, not in the 90s. This was of the 90s. I'm saying.
Shape of Punk
Yeah.
Come came out in
Oh,
'98.
you're right. Jesus Christ. God, my
That
age.
I think is still the
now.
'90s, right?
Well,
Maybe it's
I
still
would
considered
say
the 90s.
Shape of the
Sick of
Punk
It All was
is
still
more
going.
punk than
Madball.
hardcore. I will say that. Shape of the Punk comes more punk than hardcore. Philosophical. We'll get there when we review that record. We can fucking do it. And also the other thing I want to say is back to bringing up playing bomb track and guitar. When I was a freshman in high school, I took music appreciation the first semester, and they asked us to bring our stuff in, and I just happened to be filled with a bunch of cool older seniors in my class, and I got to play the bomb track, and Royce came up, and he started doing the vocals, and it was a good time, and it just made me very happy. So yeah, bomb track is great for guitar players. It's a fun time.
One last thing I want to say: the killing of the name. Have you ever seen that BBC performance?
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that song.
Yeah.
And they told him like you can't cuss, and like say he's not cussing for a while, and then he just fucking screams, and they go.
That's so crazy because I watch BBC now, and I'm like, they curse and show boobs all the time. Like it's not a problem.
Well, and this is a band they got banned from Saturday Night Live, and look what they're doing now.
Yeah,
we're much worse.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. All right, anybody else got anything else to say about this album?
I mean, I'm ready to place it when you guys are.
Let's rank it, dudes.
Ed, you are our special guest. What place?
Oh, that one for me was number one.
Number one. All right.
Yeah. No, that is my go-to when it comes to Rage for sure.
All right, Will, what about you?
Damn. It's so difficult to pick any of them, honestly. It's I'm gonna go number two. I'm gonna go number two with it. It's really kind of irrelevant what number you put it in because all of these records are really awesome. Yeah. But number two is it's great and I love it. But I just, I don't know.
What about you, Tim?
Well, I did say these are all in the green must-hears.
Uh-oh.
But this is my least favorite album here. So it's my number 4.
Go, man.
It's my number 2. In my head, before I sat down and listened to all this and took notes, in my head it was my number 1. But by the time I got to the end of the discography,
same. I thought I was going to do the same thing.
And as somebody who did get into this band later, I don't have the nostalgia attached to finding them on this album and carrying me through their career. So, objectively, it's just the one I grabbed the least. Now, in preparation for this, I listened to it a shit ton. I listened to it like 4 times today, and it's a great album. Like, there's no complaints. I just think the other ones are better.
Yeah, I honestly had it originally ranked at number 3, but my nostalgia and how impactful it was when I first heard it really matter. Sorry, I got cancer. My apologies.
All right. I guess we'll move on to Evil Empire. This one.
Wow,
dude, epic. Forever. Yeah.
I mean, if that did not make you want to get a wall pedal, dude, I don't know what did, because that
whole album,
sound,
Disco,
Vietnam.
Yeah, no, literally everything on this record is dope.
Yeah,
man, the first thing I played when I got a wall pedal, Joe Silla was playing some Hendrix funky shit, and then gave me the guitar. I was like, wow. That's great.
So I think this album's actually angrier than the first album.
Yeah,
I think everything they touched upon on their first album, they doubled down on and actually did it a whole bunch better. I really, I mean, we'll get there when I rank it, but this album's great,
dude.
And
well, they also on top of pushing the level politically, they also have some very personal, very real, personal, human, central level songs on here that are just
the first album. The first album is very, I don't want to say generic, but like the topics are very broad, I guess. Like not as detailed. Whereas in this album, he starts drilling down, say,
Right.
calling out names, locations, and
Yeah. Well, he kind of did on the first one, but on this one, they're all thematically related to the song itself and not just a general ideal.
Yeah, the songwriting gets better too.
Yeah.
They're able to focus,
and sonically, I'm gonna say it. I think they took 2-3 steps further. I hear a little punk in here. I hear a little metal in here.
Yeah.
It's not just the the dynamics they had before. Like they actually explored.
And in addition to all of that, they're also pushing forward hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're taking hip hop and actually
I
moving
even hear
forward.
I even hear a little bit of spoken word in here.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I did that in front of me, like all that stuff that Zach does. Like it's revolutionary, man. Nobody was doing this stuff back then. I can see the producers in the booth probably going like, "Man, this is like, what is this?" Like it's the kind of thing that makes you. And when you're that age, bro, this hit us at the right age, man. Like I remember this record was anticipated. Like we were waiting for this. People were, and it came out in the news, and then
this was a huge release. This was,
I saw this picture on some guitar magazine, and I just thought this was the coolest cover ever. Like with the Evil Empire, with the evil dude right there with those eyes, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this. Everybody was waiting for this release, man. Everybody got this album.
Yeah. I do have one problem with this album.
Oh.
It's the sound. And I looked at all the like behind the scenes of who did it, Brendan O'Brien, that's fine, because he did Battle as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's Andy Wallace is what I can think of. And Andy has done a lot of great shit.
Mix.
What about the sound?
Yeah,
what about the sound bothers you?
The mix of it just doesn't work. It's not as sharp as it should be. I had the same issue with Rise Against his Siren Song and the Counterculture, and it was Andy Wallace as well. I think
well,
Andy,
another album Andy Wallace.
Oh, I know.
mixed.
Oh, I know, and it works.
Andy Wallace did a lot of work.
I'm talking, of course, about Slayer's Seasons of the Abyss.
I don't know that shit.
Which him mixing that album was the reason he got to mix an album called Nirvana's Nevermind. They were impressed with the Slayer.
Nevermind is. We'll get to
Butch Vig for sure. Butch Vig a lot on Nevermind for real.
Like, well, he produced it, but Andy
I just feel like the first album and the third album, and even Renegades, the sound quality is like more sharper, and this one it just feels. I'm not. The songwriting is fantastic.
Like my rebuttal to that is that like I feel like the actual production is more of a live production, and it sounds more like them in a room playing more so than the last record, which. Even though it was still had that vibe to it, like this one just it's kind of like the Loveless by My Bloody Valentine of production. Like it's not perfect, but it's special. Like it's really good. Like
I think the production on this one is better than the first album, but I don't think this is their best production.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Agreed. I think that's why Battle might be the better production, because it does kind of blend the clarity of the first record with the crazy aggression and liveness of Evil Empire for sure.
So my notes right here says "Tire Me" is almost punk.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about I'm rolling down Rodeo with a shotgun. People ain't seen a brown skinned man since their grandparents bought one.
Wiki.
Yeah, and also like part 2 to that song where they just break down and just go straight hardcore. Like that's a straight hardcore like outro. Like it was dope. It was crazy awesome.
We hungry but them belly full. The structure set. You never change it with a ballot pool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get there in another episode, but I will say my 2 favorite Rage Against the Machine songs are on this album.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I want to give a shout out just because we were talking about the self-titled, I think it's called Darkness from the Crow soundtrack.
Yeah.
That song is an original. It's not on any other records. It is awesome, and it belongs on a record. It's so good.
He's-
I was
yeah,
just-
with the
I had it
cassette.
for the longest time.
I
Miss
I
it.
was just about to talk about this because we actually, Jason, we had a thing for soundtracks. We did a thing for soundtracks a little while ago.
Yeah.
This is my top soundtrack, one of my top soundtracks.
It's in my
I'd
top
probably
this-
go with Godzilla because it's got
And-
Puff Daddy on it, but it's also
But
got
no,
the
not just
Rage
Puff
Against
Daddy. Puff Daddy
Hey,
with Jimmy
hey.
Page playing guitar.
the- right,
Yeah.
and Dave Grohl.
And we know
Yeah,
how
but-
Will feels about Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page.
He's a murderer.
Jimmy Page?
No,
he-
Puff Daddy.
well,
Jimmy-
Will
I mean, to be
he-
fair, there's some
he-
stories about Led
he
Zeppelin that I would
murders his
not, I would
sandwiches.
like to not know for sure.
Oh,
You're welcome,
Uh,
Jason.
We should take an ad break, I guess.
really?
I don't
On
know.
a full
Yeah.
album?
Did it pop?
I think it did pop.
Okay, well, all right. Revolver is like the best song about domestic abuse I've ever heard. Like it's so good and so powerful.
It's up there.
Wind Below is fire. Down Rodeo is the firest. You're the Boomerang is fire. Everything is fire on this record. This whole record is amazing from start to finish, and I love it very much.
Some contenders.
I don't know what Jason's deal is. I like the mix in this album. I think it makes them sound more regular. Like it, and it's not as polished, but I like, Tire Me.
Oh, it's
that
more
song,
polished than the first album.
Yeah, but I mean, I do get it though. But Tire Me and Vietnam. Oh, dude,
The
those
songs are great. They just don't. They could have sounded.
No, the
better.
sound, yeah, sonically, I get it, but I'm saying to my ear, I actually enjoy it.
Dude, like here's the thing. Like on the first record, I think Tom Morello's guitar parts and solos were trying to be restrained by the production. And on this one, you get to hear them in full spectrum crazy. So I think that might have actually hurt the production because they had to open up too many more of the signal to allow the crazy, insane bullshit that Tom Morello does on fucking guitar. That motherfucker deserves every award in the book. I feel like Sonic Youth, like all the cool things they did with guitar, don't mean a goddamn thing because Tom Morello put on a guitar and he made it better. Like, oh my God, that dude
He's
is
very
amazing.
creative.
Says the guy
He's
who
very
hasn't
creative
listened to
for
all
the
of Sonic
sound.
Youth yet. You just wait. Just wait.
No. Look, I've heard of a lot of Sonic Youth, and as a guitar player, I know a lot about Sonic Youth because they use so many goddamn alternate tunings that they have separate guitars for each song sometimes. Like I understand, but like the things he does are so impactful and so powerful. And like, dude, the first time I heard Bulls on Parade and he started doing the record scratching on the strings with toggling the pickups, so you hear the that is such creative and beautiful, like just the most insane things I've ever heard on the guitar at that
Ahead of
point.
his time.
That's crazy.
Nobody was doing that. Nobody does that. Like that's his sound, and it is, and you can hear the hip hop. You can hear his influence
so
of
much
hip hop in
on
there.
this record. So much.
And you can, and then it's not, that's the thing. It's not just in the vocals. It's in the scratching. It's in the delivery of the sound. It's phenomenal, man. Like, I mean, honestly,
I will
you
also
can't,
point out that on this record, like the rhythm section definitely shines on this record.
Dude, their drummer is sick, man. That guy in the back and the back line, dude, the bass,
Brad.
Tim, all of those guys.
Cumberford. Is that his name?
Brad Wilk and
and Tim Cumberford.
Tim, Tim. That's what I said. Tim and Brad back there, dude. That line, those two, they balance with each other really. The bass is another symbol of the hip hop. Like the hip, it's in there. The hip hop, the sound, the scratching, the drums, and then Zach just being Zach. If the guy can deliver these songs phenomenally without a freaking leg on stage for 20,000 people, I mean, he's good.
Roll Right is a top song contender. That song,
dude. All of these songs are top song contenders.
You're
which
the
side from
Boomerang.
Evil Empire are you picking?
Vietnam, Snake Charmer.
Yeah, sure. Right.
People of the Sun. God, People of the Sun is such a good opener. It's just awesome from start. Oh my God, such a good record.
They always open and close.
And I mean, and they always have like these lyrics, like rally around the family with a pocket full of shells, and And when I was young, I never understood that. I don't know what he was talking about. Shells, like shells. Why does he have shells for? Like, like to go to the beach or something. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't click till I grew up, and I'm like, oh, shells. Okay, yeah, I get it.
By
now.
96, I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Come back, rewind
But
one time. Here comes the hands on the leashes, the cross, the capital, the pale families, the fear, and the mouthpieces. Great fucking song. Great album.
Fear's your only god on the radio, not fuck it, turn it off.
All right, well let's drop it in our places, then we'll cut to a commercial. I guess we made it halfway.
Deal.
That's about normal. Will, where are
Doing
you putting it?
Number one. It's like I loved Rage, the self-titled, so much, but this record just took me to a different level.
It's my number 3, just based on the sonic of it.
That's interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, what about you?
It's my number 1 as well.
And Ed?
I'm gonna put number 3.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I feel it, man. I understand it. I get it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I mean,
album,
yeah, that is the beauty of these albums, though. They're all number 1.
They're all
Yeah,
greens
they
for me.
really
I mean,
Yeah.
any of these albums I recommend.
No, even listening to this one again today, though, like it's just nonstop, start to finish, bad
So good.
ass. Yeah,
Good. So good.
yeah.
Guilty parties. All right, we are going to cut to a commercial.
For like H&R Block or something.
Oh no, it should be a Gap commercial.
Gap commercial?
Yeah, I mean they had the whole video
Navy.
where they were making fun of the Gap commercial. I think it was a Battle of Los Angeles song. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It was so good.
After these messages from the Gap, we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Please be sure to buy whatever product our sponsor, The Gap, was selling in the previous commercial.
Because you know it's quality.
We are
if you're watching a Rage Against the Machine video.
we are selling buy all the products that we're selling you.
Yeah,
we say jump.
I like to send out big props to AI for all the stuff that it's about to bring upon the music industry.
That's horrible. Horrible.
You thought music got bad, bro. Just wait.
Oh, I know, right?
You're about to hear
the
a version of Tupac. Tupac about to come back and start singing Frank Sinatra. It's gonna be like that. I'm telling you. It's gonna be like a Frank Sinatra album cover of Tupac or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just the worst thing I could possibly think ever happening. I hope we all die before that happens. Let's go to Battle of Los Angeles, guys.
All right. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will. All right.
And speaking of the Battle of Los Angeles, what a historic week Southern California had. And it's pretty crazy with the weather going on, and Mother Nature will reclaim whatever coastline it wants.
Yeah, man, it's pretty bad. They got the hurricane or the tropical storm, and they got the earthquake.
Yeah, with 11 aftershocks or some shit. Like, this is not over.
To quote Bill Hicks, Arizona Bay is probably good property to own.
I'm going to buy mine in Nevada.
Yeah, well.
Beachfront property.
Well,
baby.
I saw also that Florida's got a few storms coming its way.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just trying to ignore it because usually if it comes to Florida, I'm going to see it too. So hopefully it's not too bad. Texas got hit already too. It's a tropical storm, but
listen, I know we're old, but let's not talk about the weather.
Yeah.
Let's not
Walk
be that
around in the
stereotype.
summertime.
Oh,
Singing,
I
"How
forgot.
about
We
this?"
gotta be revolutionaries. Okay, so we gotta talk about Rage right now. Revolution.
Yeah, again, Testify, fucking badass opening track.
Fire.
The drum beat and Gorilla Radio, listen to that shit in headphones. Calm like a bomb, mic check is perfect. Sleep Now in the Fire. I'm the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, the Noose, the Rapist, the Fields Overseer, the Agents of Orange, the Priests of Hiroshima. Yeah, I'm not sure how people missed it. They were a political band.
I mean, it's not like their band name isn't, overtly political.
Well, if you're not going to get it there, you might have trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Voice
Oh, I
of the
remember the Nina,
Voices.
the
I
Pinta,
have,
and the Santa Maria. That Christopher Columbus was a great guy.
Oh yeah.
I have read funny memes about this. It said that nobody really knew who Rage Against the Machine was raging against until they started working and had to use a copy machine. Then it all made sense. Anyways,
Hey, I've seen
carry
Office
on.
Space, and I
Oh, 100%.
felt
Yeah.
something during that scene.
100%.
That
Ashes
is
in
the
the
best
Fall.
scene in
Tom doing some
movie
cool ass
history.
shit in that song.
Dude, that's such a great song.
The
Yeah.
whole album, it's hard to believe again that this came out in 1999 and pretty much called out the next 10, 15 years of American history. Every official that comes in cripples us, leaves us
He who
bleeding.
controls the past now controls the future.
War Within a Breath, best Rage closer? Question mark.
Ooh.
This is a 100% perfect
Well,
fucking Rage Against the Machine
I'm going to
album.
say no to that question just because I have a question about one of their closers. And we'll get there.
Oh, don't you do it. No, because no.
Yeah, no, I had a thought.
Top
and I'm
song,
gonna
everyone, make sure you subscribe and watch Top Songs because we don't allow repeats now. So it's gonna be
strategy.
fighting grounds in the Top Songs this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fucking love this record. To me, this is the when I want to hear Rage Against the Machine, this is what I want to put on.
Nice. That's a
And
sweet
also, I like
Rage
to put out there that Zach's dreads look better in this time frame than the other ones.
I don't know about all that.
Very important fact. That's very important.
Yeah.
Where
important.
the first record they were starting to grow. Second record they were kind of just everywhere. This record they were nice and long. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see.
I do think this album has their best production.
Yeah,
I also
I do
think
too,
it's their most hip hop album.
100%. Yep. The shit
yeah,
Tom was
like-
doing.
But it sounds live as shit. Like Sleep
yeah.
on the Fire is one of the best riffs they have. Like that thing just slays. And it's a really good album.
Some ODD trivia for you. If you go anytime you watch when we're doing a new album review for the What's Spinning, on the thumbnail I'm holding up a record. It's this record.
Perfect. And that's a first pressing. Is that in print anymore? Even
I don't know if it's a first press. No,
I haven't seen this one on record much. I've seen the first one a lot, but I don't.
Yeah,
because 99 was a dead year for vinyl.
This is a
it's hard to
2020
find stuff from that year.
A 2010 pressing.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Also, this
And it
was
sounds
out 99. So what you had Korn, Deftones,
Britney
you had
Spears.
the whole. Well, I'm talking about closer to this genre.
Blink-182.
You had a lot. Yeah.
American Football, Jimmy Eat World.
Well, and lyrically, the band that like started in '98 that I'm a big fan of. Sorry, Will, but the International Noise Conspiracy came out as the Ashes of the Refused. And anybody who knows Dennis's lyrics knows he's just as politically active as Zach.
Very much.
If you're into this lyrically, I would suggest checking out his work as well. The Refused, the International Noise Conspiracy, Lost Patrol. I would
definitely say if you're a fan of Rage Against the Machine, check out Refused before you check out International Noise Conspiracy, just because they're definitely more of a retro kind of garage band kind of vibe, whereas Refuse is more in line with the music of Rage Against the Machine as far as
At the
heavy
drive-in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the drive-in for sure.
White
forgot
Stripes
about
are
those
coming out at
guys.
this point now too, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
Weren't the White Stripes out at this point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
probably back
actually,
in
yeah.
99, 2000.
Because that was shocking when we did the White Stripes, because I didn't realize they had been around that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put them in the 2000s, but they were
Well, that's when people caught on. But I mean, same with Queens of the Stone Age. Queens of the Stone Age is out at this point, but nobody knows about them yet.
Yeah.
If you look at like
Is
top
that
singles
was-
of '99,
It's rough.
it's Red Hot Chili Peppers' "Californication,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Battle of Los Angeles, the Foo Fighters, "There's Nothing Left to Lose," "Learn to Fly,"
Was Blink? Did Blink have a hit record this year? You said
No.
All the Small Things.
That was like before this though. That was like
No, that was
90.
'99.
Was it?
Yeah.
Jesus, I want to say that was 97 for some reason.
When I went to Woodstock '99, that's all we listened to was
right.
Blink and Chili Peppers.
Oh, did
Well,
you
out
ever
of
watch the
all of that, this
documentary?
is my favorite release that
The
year.
documentary about Woodstock, Jason?
Yeah, it didn't tell the whole story.
You should have a special ODD with people that you went to Woodstock with and talk about
I don't
it.
want to talk about what happened at Woodstock.
Not
That
in a public
documentary was the
forum.
mild version of what happened at Woodstock.
Yeah.
We
But yeah,
left
no,
the-
this what else y'all have to say about this album, man?
It's to me this is the 100% perfect fucking Rage Against the Machine record. All three of them.
Will, what do you have to say about it? You haven't said much about this one, I don't think.
I honestly, it's just so good. Testify, Guerrilla Radio, Sleep Now on the Fire, Calling Like a Bomb, like
Rita,
Voice of the Voiceless is dope. No
Born of a
Shelter,
Broken Man.
Breath,
That song kicks
like-
ass.
War
Born as
Within a
Ghost.
Breath. Yeah.
It's fire,
Yeah.
man. I like, yeah. I just don't like it as much as Evil
War
Empire.
Within a Breath.
Yeah,
Great-
I feel
yeah,
like this
great
album's got actually probably better songs than Evil Empire, but I feel like the vibe as an album and a flow doesn't put it as high as Evil Empire. for
Well,
me.
and I would flip that. I think that the production and vibe on this one is better, but Evil Empire has more better songs. More
Yeah.
better.
more better.
It's one of those things, man.
Yeah.
Every
More
record
Betterness
by this
came out
band is
in 99.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like the dynamics. Like I think I talked about in the other one. I love it when Zach goes from rapping or singing into spoken word. Like he knows how to preach, but not make it preachy. Like he knows how to throw that in there, but make it go with the melody and make it go with the sound.
It's
How
very
to work and
poetic.
massage the song. It's very poetic. Yeah, it's very poetic. And I think that's another thing that I know you guys did the stuff with Sage Francis, right? That is stuff that he does really well too. He knows how to mix hip hop with spoken word, and he does it great. I love that guy.
Just to tie that together, anytime you're doing something lyrically that is both personal and political simultaneously, you're doing something right.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and he now, and I don't know. I've read about Zach and I've read about Tom and the band and their background. I don't really know if and this has nothing to do with their music, but personally, like them personally, I don't know if they have, or maybe I know Zach's dad may have. I don't know, but like struggled with a movement. And that's how he knows so much about it, or did they join the movement afterwards?
You should read into Tom's mom.
Yeah, you should very much.
Tom's mom.
I know
is one of
Tom's
the
mom
most
was a
punk
teacher,
rock
right?
ladies you will ever hear about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she was a teacher, correct? Like I know she was an English teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
read up
very
on
politically active as an activist.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
like most their background is. I know
Mhm.
Zach
Well, I
had a
mean-
rough childhood, but I just would like to know like what it was. I know parents maybe, yeah, that is true, or just being surrounded around that area. Because bro, like Rage is, if you were to just listen to music without knowing them, you absolutely would think these people were believers in communism and
They do.
socialism.
They're leftists as fuck.
And there's nothing wrong about either of those political
Yeah,
ideas.
no, and that's fine, but it's more than that though. Like the way that they talk about like the struggle and all this stuff. Like sometimes it feels like they've lived it. You know what I mean? They make it sound like they have lived it, and I just want to know what the connection is between. And I know they have ideology, you know, socialism, communism, whatever you want to call it, but I don't know the connection. Is what I'm saying. Like I know
Well,
Zach does stuff with the
Ed,
Zapatistas,
Ed,
but like I don't.
I would argue that you don't have to have a personal connection to witness injustice and preach about injustice. It doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you witness it and preach for the betterment of all man. It's okay.
Yeah,
And
no,
both
fair.
communism and socialism are inherently revolutionary. So most revolutionaries will at the very least study it and kind of like pick and choose what ideals out of them work for whatever movement they're struggling on.
Yeah, and to be fair,
I would
also
call
a lot of musicians they write music songs and you know like Johnny Cash wrote about shooting people. He never shot anybody, as far as I know. He never killed anybody. So musicians sometimes they take this other perspective, you know, from other situations, and I get that. But yeah, it would be nice if it would be kind of because I have never seen like a documentary on these individuals individually. I've seen the Rage one, but not like okay, this is Zach's life, you know, or this is Tom's life. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember Zach. I know, like after Evil Empire and before Battle of Los Angeles, Zach actually went and fought with some revolutionaries and actually, I think he probably actually killed a man. You know, it's a thing.
While Tom
and I'm going to throw out there,
to cancel a coffee shop in Seattle.
Yeah, I did see that.
With
Tom, he's a creative, and he also did Audio Slave.
Shout out to the 5 Points Cafe. No, I'm going to argue that Rage, instead of being pro-communist or socialist, they're actually anti-capitalist.
Yeah. Hugely anti-capitalist.
Because we're still dealing. They're not which in a way almost makes them pro-capitalist but they're just trying to like point out the flaws. I don't know. It seems very American to me.
I feel like on this record,
injustice. They try to fight injustice.
Wrote the best political album ever. No, there's better political albums out there. But what Rage did was they brought that mindset to the mainstream, which is super important. You know, a hell of a lot
and
more
they
people
did it
at
the turn of a millennium.
Gandhi's Pokemon City Limits.
Yeah, they blended the angry and dissatisfied elements of multiple genres, of punk, of hardcore, of hip hop, of rap, and they blended it all into
classic
one cohesive and focused, just brutal, angry, like straight up music of revolution. Like these guys are like the music of revolution for sure.
It sucks that this band gets lumped into that Woodstock '99 bro dude rock of Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock and Korn.
Do they? Do they?
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they are proto new metal. You know.
Yeah, but to say that there's anything in common between Limp Bizkit, Korn, and this
we're not saying there's anything in common.
No, I know, but
lumped in.
But if people say that, somebody says it, otherwise it wouldn't be lumped in.
Well, Ed won't say it, but I remember who Paul Ryan was. There's people out
there. Don't say that. Wash your mouth. Go drink more alcohol.
I'm gonna.
Dude, just his name makes me want to take a shot. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right, so are we ready to rank Battle of Los Angeles?
Yeah.
3 for me.
3 for you?
Yeah. I love it.
2 for me.
It's wonderful. You should listen to it.
Dose.
It's my number 1. It's my favorite. I didn't think it was going in because when it came out, there was so much good music coming out that I didn't listen to this as much as I should have. The same thing happened with the Foo Fighters, but going back now, it's like this album is just perfect.
It's really good, yeah.
I guess we're gonna talk about the covers album.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we have to, right? It's part of the discography.
Talk about the covers. Sometimes we cut covers out, like Tori Amos, because she's got so many freaking albums. But we'll throw this one in here. This is
Still did it some.
hands down, one of the best cover albums
Dude, all right.
out there.
My
I
idea
think.
about this is the fact that they actually, for the title of the record to be Renegades, and they actually picked artists that would be considered renegades. Every single artist on this
Every
record
single
is
one.
a renegade artist, man.
Yep.
Fucking brilliant thematically. The song choices are excellent. I know Slayer covered Minor Threat, but this is my favorite Minor Threat song, and it's my favorite cover of a Minor Threat song. It is so dope. Everything about this record just slays, man. It's really good. I put it at number 4. I only put it at number 4 because it's a covers record.
Dude, are you reading my notes? My notes
Holy
literally
shit.
say only in 4th because it's a cover album.
Which is why it's my number 3. Because I'm going to be unbiased, and it's a fucking killer album.
I'll just go ahead. Well, I guess we know where it's going from.
Yeah, I mean, we all know where they're going. Yeah.
No, second best production probably, and I do love the song choices. I love thematically how all those artists are renegades, and
you got Cypress Hill on here. You got Bob Dylan. You got Rolling Stones.
You got the most brutal Cypress Hill song ever.
Oh, that
the
Devo,
Stooges.
That Devo cover.
MC5, dude. The fucking MC5 are on here, man. That's amazing.
Yep. Eric B. and Rakim. Africa Bambaataa.
How I Could Just Kill a Man's top tier. Iggy and the Stooges.
Oh, well, technically, that would be just.
This album has always. This album has always smelled to me like a contractual obligation, though.
Okay.
But they also put a lot of thought into it. So even if it was a contractual obligation, they did it very artistically.
It's not a father of all motherfuckers.
It's not. That is for sure.
And that brings
no. I'm not putting it in that category.
Rage Against the Machine.
This is not an album that I would tell people to go listen to, like for Rage. It's just not. Like it doesn't.
And you put it in yellow.
Yeah, and How I Could Just Kill a Man. Cypress Hill just does it better. It didn't impress. It has never impressed me. The Ghost of Tom Joad, I think that's pretty good. I enjoy that when they did it live. When I've seen them live. I've seen them do it live. Sorry, I have not seen.
And Tom Morello, of course, was in the E Street Band after this.
That was a while.
What, 10, 15 years or some shit?
Yeah.
So
it's got some bright spots, but it's definitely not an album that I would be like, hey guys, go listen to them. When it came out, I was excited. I hadn't heard much about it, and I bought it because I thought it was a rave. But then I was like, these covers, and it's okay. It's a good listen. Nothing compared to the other 3, though. The other 3, I think, are fire from beginning to end.
The reason I made it green is because
you should hear it.
Normally, cover albums, I'd put yellow or trash, but this one is so good that if you're a fan of any kind of like Bob Dylan or Rolling Stones or Cypress Hill or Minor Threat,
or just music, if you're a fan of music,
you listen to this.
Yeah,
I would recommend this record. Like it's that good.
Like for me, it's like I got it at number 4 just because it's a covers record. Otherwise, like holy shit, like the bands and the people they cover aren't mainstream for the most part, outside of Bruce Springsteen or whatever. But like most of the stuff you would have to hear after you got into a genre to begin with. So like the fact that it's all compiled here is like these really rad artists that you might not have heard before who have really great music. Like it's almost like a very indie record in that regard because they're like,
Garage Inc.
Check this shit out you haven't heard. It's awesome.
Not just like Garage Inc., just like any covers album, really.
Yeah.
Slayer did it, and that like
even Guns N' Roses.
If you're a death metal fan and you haven't heard hardcore punk, there's your entryway into some really rad bands.
I guess for me, I just consider cover records to be no different from now, like the Kids Bops records where they cover modern pop hits, but they're still cover albums. They're just not good cover albums. This is a great fucking undeniable covers record. Like there's some that suck is all I'm saying.
I would take this over Garage Inc. though.
I would too.
I think Garage Inc. beats this one out.
That's fair. I disagree, but that's fair.
Disc 2, man. Disc 2 is where it's at.
Hey guys, Big Puppy Dog. You got anybody else got anything to add to Renegades or?
Yeah, I got one thing I want to add to it.
Oh,
And I alluded to it earlier when we talked about the best final song.
No, don't you talk about Maggie's Farm.
He's going.
I'm not going to talk about Maggie's Farm.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the metaphor of that being their career.
Damn.
They had, because what have they put out since?
Damn.
One day they just decided they weren't going to work on Maggie's Farm no more. And then became a Vegas act where they just kind of go around and tour the greatest hits. And there's
Well,
the
to
great
be fair,
conundrum of Rage.
that brings up the question of whether or not Audio Slave should exist or not.
Audio Slave is awesome. I'm
We
sorry.
will get
There you
to
go,
that.
Ed.
after
You
There
that.
you go,
guys,
Ed. You'll
you
be the
guys
pro.
can, you guys can
pro.
crap on all you
I love
want. Audio Slave
On
is
paper,
a great
Audio Slave should
band.
be the best thing in the world on paper.
See, all right,
you
look,
cannot go wrong with Chris Cornell, bro. I am sorry if you're talking about good vocalists. That dude will nail everything and everything.
He has good songs.
Ha-
You have to have good songs though. And Audio Slave just
He had the ballads. They had the rock, man. That
They
dude,
had
Audio
boring-
Slave,
Well,
give him a
they
chance.
didn't
I'm
have the
telling you.
rock.
Chris
They had the
Cornell
ballads and they
Okay,
had
it
the
was
rock
radio
features.
rock. I get it. A lot of it was radio rock, but it was good. I mean, I thought I don't know where the hate comes from Audio Slave because I get it. It's not Rage. It's never
because
gonna,
honestly, I heard it at
It's
the
not
same time as
Soundgarden
Creed,
either.
and I equate the
It's not
two.
Soundgarden
I
either.
equate the two. I equate Creed with Audio Slave because they were around the
You
same
cannot
time.
equate Creed with Audio Slave, dude.
This is
That's
about
Because
the
it
same music?
sounds like it should be on the fucking radio. That's all it sounds like to me.
well,
Nothing
okay. So you're
special.
telling me that Chris Cornell sounds like that Scott guy?
I'm saying that I think Chris
You
Cornell
can't
was the
compare
least
the two,
important
man.
part of Soundgarden. That's what I'm saying.
Man, Chris made
Great
because he was
vocalist.
the
I'm not
voice.
arguing about
Yes.
his talent. He's a fucking excellent singer, man. But so is
Oh,
like Celine Dion.
I'll
That
say
doesn't mean
that
shit.
Soundgarden are one of those special bands because each and every member is
Yeah,
irreplaceable, including
And that's-
Hero, even
That's
and
what
Ben.
disappoints me. That's what disappoints me so much about Audio Slave is like you would think, oh, Rage Against the Machine with Chris Cornell, this is gonna be fucking nuts, and it's the most milquetoast bullshit I've ever fucking heard.
well,
Yeah.
then okay, yeah, and they didn't have the hard hitting or the punk
No.
sound or whatever, but
Mm-mm.
or even the spoken word. But I mean, they gave
Closest
the
they came
room
was
that
Toe
Chris.
Cheese, which was
They
their
gave
first single.
they
It
gave
had sweet
Chris
guitar
the
parts.
room. They gave Chris the room that he needed with that band. He could not be a Zach De La Roca, dude. That's just wasn't gonna happen.
No,
But
you're
they
right.
gave him the
That's-
room and they
Chris
worked
is
with what
so
they
much
could.
better on Soundgarden.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, I'm not doubting that, but I'm just saying, Audio
You
Slave
know what
was
would have
not
been
a
better?
bad band.
What would have been
And I
better with
enjoyed
Zach
their
with the rest
singles.
of Soundgarden? That would have been a better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Zach and
Oh,
Kim
I
and
would.
Matt.
I don't.
I'm still
I don't
mad we
know
didn't
how
get
that
a
would-
last like a
I don't
real
know.
last.
I don't know
Soundgarden.
how that would fit. Like vocally for Zach, I don't think the style would mix because a lot of Zach's style comes from hip hop.
I don't
Those
think
guys
Chris
don't do
Cornell
hip
and
hop.
whatever the fuck the rest of Rage were doing with Audio Slave fit.
That's
either.
what I'm saying. They gave him the sound that they could work with him with.
It's a
Like
horrible
Chris
sound.
Cornell wasn't good. They had to give him the ballads. They had to give him the big songs because that's
I'll be
what
real.
he-
I honestly think
contributed.
Audio Slave exists because Tom Morello was like, I really love classic rock. Can we make a classic rock record, guys? And they did. And
I think
Chris
that was a
Cornell
lot of the
the first
turmoil
vocalist
in
to sing
Rage.
that.
Honestly, I think Tom and Zach's musical differences kind of was one of the breaking points because you can tell
Yeah.
Zach's more of the hip hop, Tom's more of the rock.
And yeah,
Well-
Zach's the one that brought in the Minor Threat.
Yeah, no,
cover.
he was in a hardcore band before
Yeah,
he was a
he
hip hop
was,
kid, for
yeah.
real. Like, yeah, like what I can't remember the name of the fucking band, but there's
there were some issues in that band, and even MTV will never remember. I think Limp Bizkit won an award, and Tim went
Yeah.
up there, and there were already issues that Zach was done with at that time.
I
I
still
think. And-
hashtag support Tim.
I do too, because fuck MTV, that was beautiful.
And
But I
Limp
do
Bizkit.
want to point out, I meant to say this while we were talking about Battle of Los Angeles. Like lyrically, I feel like that whole record is him dealing with the fact that he has made so much money through this band and that it's defeating the purpose of the band.
I think that's
Like,
part of
the
it. I think they started
hypocrisy-
seeing, they're starting to see a little
He's like struggling with the
hypocrisy.
hypocrisy of it on that record.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's beautiful, but man, it's such a downer at some points too.
I think this album is very like prolific, or not prolific, but
yeah,
like
no.
it's I mean, he's
It's
telling
forward
he's telling
thinking.
yeah he's telling what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. The stock markets, the housing, all of it. It's all there.
Occupy Wall Street, all that shit, man. He
Yeah.
called that shit.
Well, and I
They
also think
shut
that's
down
why they
Wall Street
closed
for
on
one
the
of the
Covers
videos, right?
album.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they shut down Wall Street for one of those for one of the videos.
Yeah, I
Sweet
think
Now in the
I
Fire,
honestly think-
directed by Michael Moore.
Yeah.
Very great.
I think that
Only-
record had a lot to do with the whole Occupy Wall Street movement to begin with, honestly.
Well,
Just
and I
that
think,
video
and I
itself,
think
man.
last I heard, that was like the only time it's been shut down, other than like the pandemic or something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of biblical, you know.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
They got medals, man. They did their thing. They were just all talk. Now, we did talk about earlier off camera, I think, that I mean, and I see it too, and I guess they did too, that this is the hypocrisy of becoming a big band. But like if you said, if their message is not necessarily one of like communism, and you know, is more about revolution, and is more about, you
Okay,
know, being
Ed,
Not
you
putting up
do
with
know
bullshit.
you do know Che was a communist, right?
yeah. But that's not their
Okay.
only message, is what I'm saying though. Like they don't their message is not. No, I mean it's revolution. Che also wasn't just a communist; he was a revolution. He was a doctor.
think-
he
I
had
think-
other things going.
I
you
think
know?
what Ed's trying to
So
say
was
is like
Lenin.
a lot of the public or whatever the
So was
critics,
Mao.
right? They say, oh, Rage Against the Machine, they're just a bunch of communists.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell communism, and he's saying that's not just what they're about. They're
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, I
Yeah.
feel you, man. I also think you shouldn't give a shit about what those people are saying, because they're full of shit with an agenda, just like they always
But
have
hey,
been.
they run the country and they end up being representatives of the House, and then you know they're the third in line for the presidency, and they say, "Hey, I like Rage Against the Machine."
And that is why I wish Rage Against the Machine would come back together and make another goddamn record. If there's any
I
band that's needed
know.
right now, it's
Hashtag
Rage Against the Machine with original music. Holy
that.
shit.
I was hoping for a single before Zach broke his leg or whatever happened to his leg. I was like, please put out a single or something. We need
Yeah, I
something.
don't think. Yeah, I don't know, man.
But-
Like
but
you can still put out a single with a broken leg. Is all
You're
I'm saying.
right, because I remember when I was doing research for this, I read something about like there was some Rage song that like Obama was just listening to all the time on his campaign, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're one of those
Oh
people
yeah.
that's
And
completely.
by the
misses
way,
it.
they don't
You're
like
gonna bomb. You're gonna drone.
they don't
strike
like
innocent
they don't like
civilians.
Democrats either. By the way, they shut down the Democratic convention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I thought it was
in
funny.
the 90s.
Obama was a
So
Rage
it's
fan.
not like, hey, they're one side or the other.
Oh,
no, they
no.
just don't
Yeah.
like either
Well-
side. So
Well, here's the thing, though. All right, as a leftist, I can say this. A lot of leftists hate the Democratic Party because they're not a leftist party. They're a goddamn centrist party. They're just as Republican as the Republicans are most of the time.
Yeah.
it's lukewarm crap, dude. Yeah, exactly.
It's our two-party system is bullshit. We need to go third party at least, man. Come on. Every other country's got more
we
than
need to
one fucking
put
party.
ODD in the ballot.
Hashtag Rage Party.
ODD supports the People's Party.
Yeah, man. We support the poor people's party most of all, I would say, because we're all poor.
Give us our Social Security. I know what you're supposed to
Dude,
do.
just
You know,
if you're gonna tax me, fucking do something with it other than fucking profit some billionaire who doesn't need the fucking tax break.
or bomb
Get
some poor
fucked.
country.
Oh, Jesus,
You
so
can
much
take our
wrong.
Resources.
I love
I'm gonna have
us.
to put a freaking warning at the beginning of this video.
Yeah.
But
and,
hey, you know,
and
this is
also
what
Honestly,
when
if you're clicking on a Rage Against the Machine discography video, you already know what you're fucking getting into.
Are you sure? Because we talked about people miss the meaning.
Hey, you know what? And if you're one of those people who got this far into the fucking video without realizing the leftist politics involved with this fucking band, you're a fucking idiot and go fuck yourself.
And if you really want to see where we stand on the political side, go watch our Kid Rock review.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean,
politically and musically.
like I'm registered independent. I'm say fuck both of them, you know? Like, but
I'm with you,
shitty
100%.
people are shitty people, and Kid Rock's a shitty person.
he's drinking Bud Light again.
Dude, it's the
Never
ODD
stop.
effect. It is the ODD effect. As soon as we put that video out, it comes out that he's drinking Bud Light.
All right. Well, let's
Telling you.
wait. All right. Well, let's test the ODD effect right now. I hope to be making money doing this in the next year. Let's
I
make that
hope Rage
ODD
Against
effect
the
happen,
Machine
y'all.
puts out more content.
I want
This
to
is the
quit my
time where we're
job.
going to plug in. Make sure you subscribe and you join the Patreon. We'll do any band you want.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, if you join the Patreon and you have literally the most obscure thing, we'll do it because we need your money. Thank
You
you.
want us to do Taylor Swift? We'll do Taylor Swift.
Toby Keith.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would love to do
I'm
Toby
down
Keith
for I'm
because I can
down for
talk
doing
shit the whole
Tay
time.
If y'all have Tay online, I'll do it.
Jimmy Buffett.
Dude, all right. My
Dude, I'll do
girlfriend
Jimmy
wants us.
Buffett.
My girlfriend wants us to do Willow. Willow.
Oh,
Willow.
Yeah, not. I think it's Willow. Will Smith's daughter. Is it
I
Willow?
whip my hair
no,
back and
no.
forth.
Yeah.
My hair back and
All right.
forth.
Dude,
Tell her to
she's
sign up for the
she's actually
Patreon.
a badass guitar player, man. She's pretty good.
We'll
Willow
even
Smith.
do
Yeah,
Puff
Willow
Daddy.
Smith. Puff Daddy. He
Puff
didn't put out any records.
Dude,
He ripped off.
Will, your
he
face
ripped off
literally
the
just
talent
like
and
went
some
to
other
He's
like a
got what,
people.
change.
4 albums? He's got 4 albums. We could do that, no problem.
Well, he's been in, like he was in Biggie's album too, and he's one.
Sure.
Yeah, that was
That'll
his
be part
claim to fame.
2.
That's why he had
All
to kill
the
him.
other stuff that's not official Puffy albums that are Puffy albums.
Yeah, but and again, this is one of the things Rage has done is open up a dialogue for all of us to be able to say the man
Fuck
sucks.
Puff Daddy.
That too. And the fact that you had some like people, these kids that started off playing in garages and just made it to be to that level is pretty amazing. So I am glad they came into my life because I still listen until today. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
some of those songs, biblical.
Yeah, I lose my shit when I find out that Zach's doing the guest vocals on like the Run the Jewels record and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go listen to that. And I go listen to it and it's wonderful. It's awesome.
Run the Jewels is fantastic.
I can't wait till we review them.
I know, we gotta get Garrett back for that.
Zach had a DJing album, I thought.
No, he did something with DJ Shadow for like he had a whole
okay.
record, but he never released it. Like a couple songs got released on like Soul
I
Seed.
might figure that.
But
DJ Shadow's rad.
yeah, he is
Yeah.
rad. Yeah, for real.
All right.
We should move on to artwork.
No, we gotta do top
We'll get to
songs. Make sure you
or that too. Yeah.
give us a like, a thumbs up, whatever the kids say these days. Subscribe because we got 2 more Rage videos coming out this week where we talk about the artwork and which is gonna be good, and the top songs.
Which is gonna be good.
Yes, our rant and rank for Rage Against the Machine. Leave us your rankings down below in the comments. Check out our socials below. Sign up for Patreon and request us some BS because we've had a good run of like some really good bands lately. But that's 'cause we're picking them. So, as always, be safe and make good decisions.
And seriously, vote in your best interest.